The Brutal Books Podcast is an unedited, raw conversation. Personal topics and cursing will possibly occur, so viewer discretion is advised. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back to the Brutal Books Podcast, where we are brutally honest about books we've read. My name is Isela.
My name's Roma, and today we're going to be discussing Verity by Colleen Hoover. So, this book I enjoyed a lot just for the starting off at the idea of it being Colleen Hoover's first suspense thriller novel that she's never done, and I was expecting to be disappointed, and this was literally so good.
Okay, when I bought it, because I was just at Target, guys. I just bought it because I really wanted it. But after going on TikTok, people started there was mixed opinions. People saying that it was bad, that it wasn't a good thriller book. But I actually kind of enjoyed it because it's one of those books that get you on the edge of your seat throughout the whole book. There'll be cutesy romance, and then the next minute something terrible is happening.
Right. And I think lately especially, Colleen Hoover's have this habit of starting her books off with this one line. I think It Ends With Us was I've never thought about suicide.
Yes.
Or I wonder what it'd be like to suicide. And then this one was someone's skull was crushed,
it was
right?
I can scale the blood of the skull.
Yes, I
scratching
can feel
beside.
yes, I can feel splatter on my face.
Oh my god, when I read that first line, I was like, what am I reading? What the hell is this?
Right.
I was like, did someone just die? I was so confused. But then I feel as you keep reading, you kind of understand there was an accident going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then did you think introducing Jeremy right then and there was the perfect timing?
I think it was a good idea. I think the whole coincidence of it is what caused the story to start. I think I do understand, because he was the person who was hiring Lowen and all of that. So I think it did make sense for them to meet before prior to her just going to their house and stuff. Which brings me to the fact, do you think it's weird that she moved in with them?
Oh my god, I found it so weird because dude, you're married and you have a kid,
mm-hmm.
And you're bringing in or some random woman,
right?
And wasn't she sleeping in the master bedroom,
something like that?
Or was it the guest room? But it was near Jeremy's room,
right?
And I found that so creepy because I wouldn't want another woman living in my house with my husband,
right? That's
just way too weird,
especially since at that time we all assumed that Verity was for real sick and paralyzed, all of that.
I thought she was on the verge of death.
Real.
I really thought she was about to die. When I was reading it, I was she's gonna die in the end. That's how it's gonna happen. This is how the book is gonna end. She's literally gonna die, and these two are gonna get together.
Mm-hmm. I feel I predicted the whole Jeremy and Lowen getting together thing, because off the bat, they both seemed a little bit too close to each other.
Oh my god.
A little too close.
When they were in the bathroom, and she was taking off, because, he gave her the shirt because she had, blood all over.
Oh, yeah.
I was wouldn't you want him to, step outside while you get dressed? But he just kind of stayed there, and I was
he stood there. I was like, how about we exit the room? You just
give
met.
her privacy.
Yeah.
We literally just met, 2 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the weirdest interaction ever.
The weirdest, meeting ever.
Imagine becoming, friends with someone after, you just had a terrible accident.
Or, witness the death of someone on the side of a road.
Wouldn't you be traumatized?
Yeah.
But she seemed fine.
They both seemed, completely fine.
They seem like they've seen this, 100 times in their lifetime.
Right. They got over it so fast, which made no sense to me.
I would have been traumatized for the rest of my life. I would have been crying myself to sleep for, the next 3 months.
Right.
But no, this girl just walked into an interview 2 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how she pulled that off.
Right, exactly. And the fact that it just went from just the meeting to, okay, I'm gonna move in with you, and I'm sure maybe I'm remembering differently, but I feel it went really fast from just the interview to meeting, moving in and writing this book for your sick wife who's not able to write anymore. It was
whoa, it all came so quickly.
Right.
The book it was a super fast-paced book. I feel because I read it in one sitting.
Right.
That's how good it was. I could not put it, because I would be okay, one more chapter.
Right.
And then something happened. I was one more chapter. Next thing I know, it's 2 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
And I finished the book, and I'm traumatized to go to bed now.
Right. I think I read it in 1 or 2 days.
I have stairs in my house. So imagine me. I'm still scared. I'll turn on the lights. I cannot go up the stairs in the dark.
Everyone who's read Verity knows the stair scene. It's freaked me out so bad. And you know what's so unrealistic about this book? Is the fact that after she saw that, this girl did not leave.
Oh my god.
She stayed there.
I would have
I would have ran.
I don't care if I left my phone somewhere. I'm running off and finding like 911, being like, there's this crazy woman here that's trying to like kill me or something. Because it was like 2 a.m. and my door was open, and the thing about my door is that it leads straight to the stairs. So if you look outside the door, the stairs are right there. No one was home. I was home alone because my parents went out. I was terrified. I had all the lights on to the point where when my parents came back, they were like, why are all the lights turned out? And I told them about my book. And they're like, what are you reading? They were so concerned for me.
Right.
Like, it was so bad.
And it's so funny because on TikTok, I'll see, like, things of, like, the difference between a white main character and a person of color as a main character, because they're all like, this white girl stayed. While if it were me, I would have been out of that house the second that happened.
I would have grabbed my phone.
Yes.
911, what's your emergency? There's this lady on the stairs trying to kill me.
Oh my god, I think before the stairs also was when she was Lowen was looking out the window and Verity was in her wheelchair at the pond or the lake. And Verity turned around and looked Lowen dead in the eye, and she followed her with her gaze, and I literally, like, my heart literally dropped in my stomach.
You know how many times I felt like a heart attack throughout that whole book?
Right.
I felt like if I was her, I don't know what she was thinking. Why would you stay there?
I know.
What is wrong with you? Like, I get it, Jeremy may be hot, but like, girl, it's not worth it. Your life is not worth it.
It's never worth it. Not for that.
Like you see me, I would have been out the minute she looked at me.
Real.
Because like she's paralyzed, guys. Ain't no way she's turning her head and stuff unless there's like some miracle.
And at that point, like, she already started reading the manuscript.
Oh my god. The first chapter of it was like, all right, like, okay,
like, whatever, a little
she
bit.
She just wants to get with this man,
right?
Okay, but then like after a while,
a little bit TMI of like, wanting to get with Jeremy, but you know, understandable, whatever.
Like, girl just wanted to get laid. That's all she really wanted from me. I feel like that was their whole relationship.
Of just wanting to be with Jeremy.
That's all she really wanted.
Yeah.
Like the lengths she went to stay with him.
Yeah.
She faked a pregnancy and then actually got herself pregnancy.
Right.
And then she wanted a miscarriage so badly to the point where she was like,
and the reason for the miscarriage too, like, the idea of her like being scared that Jeremy would love their kids more than he loved her. Like what kind of twisted mentality is that?
Like, aren't mothers supposed to love their children more than anything in the whole world?
And she was jealous because Jeremy was like, yeah, I mean, I would love the kid more, obviously, because like
it's my kid,
right? And she was like jealous of an unborn kid.
I know.
What the heck?
Oh my god! Or with the scene where she described like her using a hanger.
Oh my god!
I was so
trigger warning for anybody listening.
I was so freaked out. I was like, girl, if you really want an abortion that bad, like, I guess she was so far along, but there are other ways than just because first you're causing your baby harm,
right? And
you're just causing yourself harm,
right?
Like, it was so bad. Like, all these things that she did just to have a miscarriage. Like, I remember this one time she was like talking about how she was like working out extremely,
right?
And I was like, girl,
she's going to lengths.
She really doesn't want this child.
Right.
If you didn't want the child, why did you get pregnant in the first place? Why didn't you just tell him there was a miscarriage? Mm-hmm. Like, you could, if you weren't pregnant at the time, but you already told him you were, you could literally, in that minute, or in a couple of weeks, say, I lost the baby.
Right.
And move on.
It just goes to show how crazy she is. Like, that's, like, the best way to describe it. She's actually mentally insane. Like, all these little things.
And then she had another kid, Crew. That poor child. I don't know how he's...
Crew is going through it. Like, he has seen enough.
Poor bro is traumatized of a pawn.
Right.
Of his own mother. Probably of his own dad.
Yes, honestly.
Honestly, they all need help in their own way.
All really do.
Especially Crew. He had to witness his sister drowning.
Yeah, like, and his mother being crazy.
Like, and then, like, oh my god. Verity literally made her son go along with the thing.
Right.
Like, she was so twisted that she made Crew pretend that she was like sick and stuff, but in reality Crew did know about the whole thing,
right?
And then in this one scene, Verity was literally, because Loman was like hearing and eavesdropping, Verity was literally telling him, you can't tell your dad, you need to get this lady out of here, right? So Crew would of course follow along because he was scared of his own mother.
Like, that's creepy. And I think this might be a good time to bring up this whole big debate, but are you on team manuscript or team letter? Because there's a lot of mixed opinions.
If you read the bonus chapter, you would literally change your mind so quickly. Because earlier you said you were team manuscript, right?
I was team manuscript.
Read the bonus chapter.
I think I read a little bit of
it.
I'm not sure. Can you summarize the bonus chapter?
Oh my god. So it was like they had their baby. Forgot the child's name, but they had like a baby together.
Right.
They were all happy and stuff. So they went to like a beach. just to like get out of the house because they wanted like to escape all of that happened with Verity.
Right, I think I might have read a little bit of that.
So they went to the beach and there was like a lady who kept staring at them. And they were so paranoid that they thought that this girl was actually gonna like she was a police officer or something.
Okay.
Like they were so paranoid to the point where Jeremy literally drowned that girl. He literally killed the woman.
You're kidding.
And then of course here comes Lowen and she's like she's witnessing it and there's nothing. And Jeremy just grabs her and says, let's go, we're leaving. And they leave and they literally just drive off.
You're kidding. So Jeremy drowned and killed a woman who was staring at them?
He was so paranoid. I'm telling you, he was so paranoid. And then she was like,
God.
how many times have you done this? And he just didn't answer. And I was like, dude, don't tell me you've done this more than once. I was like, because it was like...
That's crazy.
It was like 10 months later, like a year later.
Right.
From the time skip. And I was like, throughout that whole year, how many people has he killed? Has he even killed anyone? Because he didn't even answer the question. How many times have you done this? It's a simple question.
But then also, wait, so why would that change your mind about going from manuscript to team letter?
Because in the letter, she was trying to warn, like, how Jeremy was going actually crazy.
Ah, I see.
So, I think I'm kind of team both because I see what she's trying to say in the letter. But girl, you killed your children.
Yeah.
Girl, there's no recovering from that. I don't care what you did.
Right.
I don't care what he did. There's no coming back from that.
And I also don't know how people justify her, like, not justify, but, like trying to be on her side about the whole killing her kid thing. Because in 100, like, I think it was page 100. I think I remember the page number.
You remember?
I think I might. Lowen was like, a mother could never write this about her own children unless it was true. And then in the letter, Verity was like, it's not true, I just wrote it to cope. But I don't think that's possible. Because there's too many things, like, aligning. Like, the whole, like, miscarriage, the hanger thing, and then the scar.
That's too much, girl.
Right, the scar, and then, like, all these
How are you
little
going to
things.
explain this? Like, I think she wanted to, like, convince herself so badly that this didn't really happen. Because you went to all these lengths to prevent from your children from being born. How are you going to explain a scar when you literally wrote that you had a hanger?
Right.
And you were trying to, like,
and then
have a
she
miscarriage.
literally described the whole drowning. Oh, like, we didn't bring that up yet. Drowning her kid in the lake.
The cover of
the
book.
The net.
I didn't know what it was until I saw
it
it on TikTok. It was, like, explaining Colleen Hoover's, like, covers.
All her covers. Oh, my gosh.
And then I was like, I would never, like, Ugly Love?
Yeah.
Would never have imagined the actual meaning behind it.
I haven't even finished reading Ugly Love,
Girl.
so I have to figure out that cover
the
later.
Girl, and I was like, that's the child. That's literally the child that she killed.
That's so creepy. Like, the cover of Verity itself is just, like, creepy. Like,
when I saw it, I thought it was, like, pretty, like, nets.
Right.
Until I saw the legs, I was like, girl, what are legs doing on the cover? And then I get to the page, and I flip to see, like, the cover, and I'm just like, ain't no way. So I searched up on TikTok, and I saw the video. I was like,
right. And wasn't Crew also part of the death of that sister?
He was. They were, like, Verity got them on the boat, and literally only saved Crew. And left the other child to drown.
Like, she only saved Crew and told Crew something of, like, don't do this or something like that?
Yeah, he was like, she was telling him, don't tell Dad. Tell him that I tried. So she went back into the pond and pretended to, like, look for them. And by the time Jeremy came, he went into the pond, too, to try to find the baby, kid.
That's so crazy.
So she literally pretended to save the child, when in reality she was just swimming there, watching the baby just drown.
Right. And I feel like if she was true about the letter, then she really wouldn't have faked the sickness for so long, like the way she did.
She faked it for so long.
Right. Because if you were be telling the truth, then what reason do you have to fake your own illness?
But, like, I'm still wondering how the doctors went along with the whole paralyzed thing. Because you would think the doctors would tell Jeremy, oh, she's not lying. Really paralyzed. Because there are tests to see if you're actually paralyzed or not. You know, they have, like, a little, like, a thing, and there's, like, a ball attached to it, and they roll it up your feet.
Sure, of course.
Girl, you would have moved your feet.
Yeah.
Ain't no way you could, like, have a straight face while they do that.
Right.
Or there's so many other tests. So I'm wondering if, like, she paid the doctors to go along with it, because she is rich.
True,
she is an author.
She has some kind of name to herself.
Or she just, like, paid them and told them, like, oh, keep this a secret from my husband.
Right.
Don't tell them. But why would the doctors go along with it? Like, I get it's money, but you're, like, destroying a family.
Right.
By doing this.
And your own credibility.
For real, like, no one's gonna trust you after they find out.
Right.
It was just so bad.
It's just her. I think she's just, like, crazy.
They're all crazy.
I think one thing that really clicked for me of how, like, the lengths she would go to is when Lowen was talking to Crew at the dining table, and he was eating peanut butter or something, and then when she asked him a question of, like, do you know your mom or something about his mom, right? And he bit into the knife, like, straight up. Do you remember that part?
He bit into the knife
to where, like, the knife was standing, like, straight like this, and then it went through his teeth, started bleeding, his gums started bleeding. They had to take him to the ER.
See, he was so scared of his mom that he literally inflicted harm on himself.
Yeah.
That's how
Which is so crazy, because that was, like, the graphic moment, right? Like, there's been other moments that, like, I was shocked, like, the head turning, her being at the top of the stairs, like, all of that was, like, God, like, shivers, right? But the second I heard that he bit into the knife and, like, caused blood to come out of his gums, I was like, ooh, no.
Like, we all bleed. Like, eventually we've all seen blood.
Right.
But, like, this little kid...
The graphic image or the graphic description of it.
He inflicted it on himself because he was so scared that his mom was going to do something.
Right.
Like, a mother should love their child. They wouldn't want to bring harm to their child. They would want them to, like, grow up successful and have a good life or be whatever they want to be. Verity, completely opposite.
Verity is a different level.
Care.
She does not care. She's literally just selfish for Jeremy, and that's, like, so crazy to me.
She wanted Jeremy so badly
that she couldn't share her with her own kids.
If it was up to her, any woman that looked at Jeremy, she would literally, like, pull out a gun and shoot them on sight.
Actually.
Like, that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Like, girl, I get you're obsessed with this man, but he's not worth it.
It's not worth going. That.
It's not worth going crazy over, like, a guy.
Right. And even Lowen was, like obviously Verity's, like, the next level, like, crazy psychopath.
But Lowen's right after her.
Lowen is, like,
right after
definitely
her.
Second. Because, first of all, I'm not going to describe that scene because it's a little bit PG-13 and our teacher listens to our podcast, and I'm not going to describe that. But there was that one scene I can't talk about, and there was also her eating the paper.
Yes.
And, like,
oh my God.
She ate the paper.
She was so great. Guys.
She ate the letter. I'm sorry. That's so funny to think about. She literally downed that letter.
You see me? I would have ripped it so badly to the point where you can't even put it back together. But this girl,
she ate it.
She ate it.
Like, and then she also, obviously,
she could have flushed it down the toilet, but this girl...
Right.
No.
And obviously she had Jeremy's baby after that. Not too long after they both killed Verity together. She had his kid.
God. When they killed
Verity, maybe. Yeah.
When they killed her, I was
so
like,
shocked.
She just stood there. Lowen just stood there watching him. Like, girl,
like,
what is wrong with you?
In that moment, I did understand Jeremy because, like, I would be so pissed. Like, that's, like, a whole different level of, you know, like, killing your own kids.
Like, imagine finding out that your
wife,
who has been paralyzed for, like, God knows how long,
ended up killing your kids and was lying about her paralyzation.
And went through all of this just to keep you.
Right.
But in the end, she did lose him.
Right.
So, I don't see why she kept going along with him. Because she wasn't getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
She would just get his attention sometimes. But even then, they hired a nurse.
They had
nurses.
He was neglecting her. Like, he fell out of love with her real fast. And
really?
I think he did suspect that she faked her own accident, or like she purposely crashed her car or something. It must have caught.
Because ain't no way.
Isn't the car crash the one that killed the other daughter?
It was?
Wasn't that was that not what happened? Like, she crashed her car purposely to kill the other daughter or something like that?
I thought it was she crashed her car into the tree.
Or get attention?
To pretend that she was paralyzed.
Okay.
Because I know one kid died by the pond. Right. I forgot how the other kid died.
I think the other kid died through the car crash.
Really?
I think she purposely killed it.
It's so obvious, but you're so blindsided.
He's
two of your children die, and you're still with the woman. I don't know how because I feel like if I was married and I lose a baby, I feel like the relationship's just, like, broken.
Honestly, yeah. There's, like, a lot. Like, losing a kid is hard, and then
like, especially if they're, like, kind of grown up already.
Right.
Like I get you have miscarriages, and I know, like, most relationships do end, but most pull it through. Like, they stay strong for each other, and they pull through it. But the kid was, like, probably, like, 5.
Yeah.
And then she just died.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's when the relationship truly ended.
And didn't, like, after the first kid died or something, I think Verity realized that Jeremy was, like, so upset over it or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was he was so upset to the point where they described him as he wouldn't, like, talk to her.
Right, and so she got, like, annoyed or, like, upset, right? Because
Isn't
that's not
that why
what
she got pregnant with Crew?
I think it was. I think so.
Because I remember after one of the kids died, she got pregnant with Crew. Because Crew was there when the second child died.
Right.
When the second twin died. So they must have had Crew somewhere in between the deaths.
Yeah, they had to have, right? Because I think I do vaguely, like, remember how she was jealous or, like, upset because the way she killed the kid to have Jeremy come back to her. But then when that didn't happen, she got upset with that because Jeremy didn't want, like, obviously not do anything. He was so upset. And then, did she have Crew before she killed the other kid, or did she kill the other kid first?
I'm thinking that
to get
she
Jeremy,
was probably pregnant when the kid died.
Should we search up a summary? Let's see what happened.
I just want to know, like, when they had Crew. Like, was it, like, before the accident? After the accident?
It could have very much been. Let's see. Oh. I don't think it shows.
Well, I'm just going to assume that they had Crew after she died.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is that she killed a child because the kids were getting so much attention. But then you have another kid just so he's not upset.
Yeah.
So you still have 2 children, girl. You just, like...
So, okay, when Chasten is 8... Oh, here's what happens. Okay, Chasten is 8. She ends up dead from her peanut allergy.
Verity knew about the peanut.
She did?
I'm pretty sure she did.
Did Verity purposely, like, poison her kid?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she did.
And then Chasten and Harper had been at a sleepover together when it had happened.
Okay.
Oh, because Verity didn't like either Chasten or Harper. She didn't like one of the twins.
She loved Harper.
So then she
That was
didn't
the
like
favorite.
Chasten. Yeah.
Okay, but she still killed the favorite.
True.
Because they both died. Oh, God. Those poor children.
Oh, but she did also kill Harper.
Yeah, on
She
the
killed
canoe.
Harper. Yeah.
On the boat when they went out to the pond. This
Yeah.
girl had no favorite. Crew was the favorite.
That's
the only one that lived.
Only one that's left, so it had to be.
Maybe because...
Yeah. Okay. Verity admits to killing one of her 2 dead twin daughters.
Well, thank God the other one didn't.
The other one, I guess it was a natural death. I don't know.
A natural death. There's nothing natural about this book.
For real. Yeah, that's what it says, basically.
Okay, well, at least that child doesn't have to go through, like, her mother.
True. I wouldn't be
How
surprised.
did Harper survive, like, after her twin died?
Right, I don't know. I think that's what happened. I think, yeah, so Chasten died. He was super, like, hurt over it, obviously. And then Harper, and then she had Crew, and then she killed Harper. So she killed Harper after she had Crew.
But yeah, she's kept Crew.
Huh.
Why would she
yeah.
keep Crew?
Let's see.
What's so special about Crew?
Let's search up why did she crash her car. Why did
It better not be because Crew is a boy. If that's the reason why,
I don't think it would be. I think she just knew she had nothing left.
Or resembled Jeremy?
Oh.
Could it be that? Crew must have looked like Jeremy.
Maybe. Okay, so it says here that Jeremy staged the car crash.
Okay, but that wouldn't really make sense because why would he want, like, her to get in a car crash?
It says that it happened after it was discovered that the twins were dead.
So he knew?
I guess? I don't know.
So he knew that she killed the children.
Google is not giving me the answers I need.
My mind isn't giving me the answers I need. Why would he stay with her if he knew that she killed the children?
I don't know. I think they're giving me the wrong answers.
Was it for the money? Because we all know she was rich.
We do. They were both rich. They had, like, the big house. I can imagine in my head, like, the big cabin, like, house with the lake.
It, like, it was, like, isolated, kind of.
Yeah.
And then they had, like, a lake.
Yes. The lake
and
in
it was
the back.
private.
Yeah. Brown and stuff. I would look-y want to live there, but it'd be haunted, so I'm not too sure about it.
I'm scared to live alone, like, on the countryside.
Yeah, me too. I have to be with someone.
I watch too many shows.
For real.
I watch way too many shows.
All the murder shows? So bad.
Stop. That's why I can't. That's why I'm scared of my own house right now. After this book, I can't look at my stairs the same way.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so speaking of the book, let's do the whole rating process now, because I feel like we've talked about it enough, and I think we definitely have proven it is a book to read, so please do read it.
Especially if you're, like, into, like, thriller kind of.
Yeah.
Because this book, like, keeps you on the edge of your seat throughout the whole book. Because, like, the first sentence Hello? If you're not continuing to reading, like, what is wrong with you?
For real.
Like,
actually, all of her first sentences are so good.
They're so, like, engaging.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how she comes up with these.
I don't know either. I think she writes the whole book and just goes back to the first sentence, honestly. That's what I would do.
And then she, like, picks which one's the best one to start off with.
For real.
I still don't know how she does it.
But out of 5, or no, 5 is too limited. Out of 10, what would you rate it?
Oh my god. I feel like I would give it around an 8.
Okay.
An 8.
And what happened to the other 2?
Okay. First off, it was a bit confusing, like, reading the letter and the manuscript, because if you read the bonus chapter, you would understand, like, the confusion. Because is Jeremy the villain, or is, like, Verity the villain? Like, who's the villain in this, like, book?
Well, right.
Because Verity, we all know she killed her children. You know, she staged this whole act of her being paralyzed. And then there's Jeremy saying, like, Google saying, apparently he knew.
Wait, so that's where your 2 goes to?
Yeah, because it's a kind of confusing, like, the whole thing. Like, why would Jeremy stay if he knew that Verity killed the children?
Sure. Okay.
I need closure.
But, like, okay, but I mean, like 10, like, out of the sense of did you really like it, or did you really hate it?
It was a really good book, because I did finish it in, like, one sitting. And I don't really read a lot of thriller. I usually just read, like, kind of, like, romance. Yep. And this was kind of, like, my first thriller book, and I really enjoyed it because it was kind of a book that, like, leaves you on the edge of your seat throughout the whole book. And I like how it was, like, really fast paced, and it didn't really, like, bore you. Like, you didn't really get bored or anything. But there are some scenes that I did not like, or I feel like she could have been, like, a little more, like, graphic with some scenes, like, about how, like, the child was dying. Like, she just kind of said that, like, she drowned, or she was trying to help. Like, was the child screaming, or did the child just completely drown?
Okay.
I feel like she could have added a bit more dialogue in some scenes.
For sure. That's completely valid. I get that. I think maybe she was already worried about it being too graphic, but it was already graphic, so she might have just gone all full out. Like, she should have just, like, went for it. I get that. I think, personally, I would give it a 10.
Really?
I would, yeah. I think I'd give it a 10 just because I wanted to keep reading it, and that's, like, it sounds bad, but it's, like, that can be, like, pretty rare for me, because I'll start a book and I'll put it down, and I'll be bored for a little bit, and then I'll put it down, and it'll take me a long while I've started a lot of books and I haven't finished them yet.
That's me right now.
Yeah, I have, like, 5 books I've started.
Really?
And they're all bookmarked in some random place that's not the beginning, and then I never finished them, so I have to get back to those. But Verity, I felt like reading, like, so quickly. Like, I felt like just taking, like, the 2 days, like, of a break and then just finishing it, like, which I did.
Her as a reader, all her books are really fast paced.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I kind of like about her, like, writing. They're fast paced. Like, if you want to, like, get a good book in and finish it, like, really quickly, I would, like, recommend one of her books. That's
I think one of the reasons I do like her books more, just, like, because I think I generally do like fast paced books way more than slow burn. Like, I know a lot of people love slow burn, and I think that's a great trope or whatever, but it bores me, and I get easily... I get bored sometimes. Yeah. I really do. And it's hard to, like, stay on one book, because you have all these amazing books on your shelf. For sure.
And you're like, oh, I want to read this, but I need to finish this book.
Right.
Like, you always have that one sense to, like, finish the book you're reading right now. But I can't.
That's also what I love about Shatter Me, is because it's, like, a series, but each book you can finish really fast, which is what I really like. Yeah. So would you recommend this book to someone else who wants to read it? I actually have recommended it to someone. You have? Okay. I recommended it to a lot of my friends, and they're reading it, and they'll tell me, like, ain't no way this just happened. And, like, when they got to the scene where, like, they discovered, like, she's crazy and, like, she staged the whole thing, they literally couldn't believe it. Like, they were Googling it because they didn't believe me. I was like, no, I'm being for real. She literally staged the whole thing. It's right there in the book. Like, they did not believe me at all. I think I have a few friends who also read it. I know Henna has read it, I think. So we'll just keep talking about it. We'll disagree and we'll agree, and it's, like, the funnest thing. Oh my gosh, she was like, I'm team letter. And I just, like, completely, like, looked at her. I was like, are you okay? I know. It's like, why would you be team letter? I was like... I get it if you're, like, team, you know, Jeremy's crazy. I'm team... But... They all need mental, like, they all need to go somewhere. That is a team I will support. Yes, for sure. Okay, I think that concludes this episode of Verity. Yeah. Thank you for listening.